second graders, this is Miss Kish. Today we're talking about your personal narrative. The first thing I'm going to do is kind of talk about the steps that we did because different people are doing different things, okay? So I think everybody has picked a topic. They picked the one thing they wanted to write their story about, all right? And after you do that, you made your plan, right? We drew pictures and we thought about what happened in each part of the story, and we wrote and drew our ideas down on paper so we have them, okay? After that, we used this plan and we used it to help us write our story. My story is up here on the screen right now, all right? And I skipped lines when I wrote. If you forgot to skip lines, that's okay. But I skipped lines when I wrote, and I went through each part of my story and I wrote the words of my story. I wrote down what was happening, okay? And some of you finished that. Some of you are still working on it. That's great. So you might be working on your plan today. You might be working on writing the words of your story today. I want to tell you what to do if you finish doing those things, okay? Excuse me, the first thing you do is read your story. And I know some of you have read your story one time or two times or three times, but I want you to read it again. Writers are always reading their writing and they're looking it over, okay? So last time when I read my story, I was checking my plan and I was just making sure I didn't forget anything, okay? Today when I read my story again, I'm going to be thinking about the parts of personal narrative, and I'm going to be thinking about if I put some of them in. Do you remember some things on our list? We had suspense, sound words, characters, setting, a list, dialogue where people are talking, writing words in all capital letters. So I'm kind of looking for some of those things, okay? I want to see if I wrote them in my story. All right, so my story says, one beautiful spring morning, my friends and I decided to go canoeing. We arrived at the James River early on a Saturday. The river had many tall trees along the edge. I did repetition, didn't I? I put the word tall in 2 times because I wanted you to know how tall they really were. My friend Kofi and I were in a canoe together. So there's my characters, right? You know who my story is about. We also know the setting. We know we're on the James River. I didn't put Virginia. Maybe I want to add that in. We know it's a Saturday. We know it's in the morning. One beautiful spring morning. Maybe I just might write right here. In Virginia, my friends and I decided to go canoeing. Okay. My friend Kofi and I were in a canoe together. I was in the front. We all started to get hungry. We wanted to eat our lunches. I'm going to change this a little bit. I want to help you make a detail in your mind. We wanted to eat the lunches we had packed. Now you know where the lunches came from. Under the shade of the trees because it was hot in the sun. Kofi and I paddled toward the riverbank. I looked up into the tree and saw, a tall tree and saw, there's my ellipses. This is suspense, right? I'm making you wait to find out what's happening. Does your story have a spot where you might add ellipses or you might make us wait to find out what's happening? Maybe you might want to change that. It was hanging from a branch. All I could do was scream. Oh, you know what? I think I need a sound word right here. Because when I told this story on Friday and talked to you guys later, this was one of your favorite parts of the story. Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a sound word that shows what it was like when I was screaming. So I'm using all capital letters. I'm using a sound word, and I added an exclamation point. Kofi didn't know why, but then he saw the snake too. I missed a capital letter. We yelled and shouted and paddled backward. That's a list, right? I'm telling you all the things that we did when we saw the snake. Our other friends were so confused. Finally, the snake fell from the branch and went into the tree roots. Phew, there's my other sound word. We went to a different tree, ate our lunches, and told our friends about the snake. So second graders, I was a reader. I've probably read my story 3 or 4 times now, right? I'm looking to see if there's anything else because even though it was the 3rd or 4th time, I still changed some things. I still added some things, okay? So this time, if you're reading it again, think about things you might want to add. Do you want to add suspense? Do you want to add sound words? Do you want to add a word in all capital letters to show strong emotion? Okay. I still have words that I think aren't spelled right, and that's okay. I still have time to fix those later. Okay. So second graders, now I want to tell you what to do if you're done writing your story right now. Right now my story, it's not done. I didn't fix my spelling words. I haven't done my last picture. But for now it's done. I've read it, I've looked at it, and it's time for me to do something else. If that's what you're doing too, what I want you to do is go back to your writer's notebook. Check your list again. See what other story you might want to write. Maybe this time I might write about, I don't know, what should I write about? Maybe I'll write about the bike race. I could do that one. Okay, so I'm picking a new topic. Guess what I have to do next? Close my eyes, watch the movie in my head. Guess what I do after that? Take my paper, I make my 6 boxes, and I start a brand new plan for my new story. Some of you are going to end up having 2 stories. That's great, okay? Some of you will have 1 story. That's great, all right? So today, think about what you need to do. Maybe you need to finish a plan. Maybe you need to turn your plan into a story like I did on the screen. Maybe you need to read your story after you write it. And then maybe you're ready to start something new, to look at your list, to pick a new idea, and to start a different story. So you might end up having 2 stories. Okay? That's your job for today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how to work on the words that might be spelled wrong, how to think about capital letters and periods, all that kind of stuff. Okay? Have fun today, friends.